Yo, you ever think about YouTubers who just vanish? One day they're pulling millions of views, making you laugh, and the next, they're gone. No goodbye, no nothing, just gone. For example, the first channel on the list is a channel that literally brought the explosions, fpsrussia.
Hello my friends, it's fpsrussia.
If you were around during the golden days of YouTube, you know this guy. fpsrussia was that channel everyone talked about when you wanted to see insane weapon demos, like firing RPGs or testing out custom-made flamethrowers. The guy behind the channel, Kyle Myers, would throw a thick Russian accent and act like your crazy, gun-obsessed buddy from Moscow. It was over-the-top funny, and most importantly, completely entertaining.
I'm gonna take this AK with a 7.62 round and show you why I like the 7.62 round. I'm gonna chew straight through those blocks.
At its peak, fpsrussia was unstoppable. The channel had over 6 million subscribers, and every video racked in millions of views. Kyle didn't just blow stuff up. The kind of content he made was the Wild West of YouTube, and honestly, it fit right into the chaotic less rules vibe of YouTube back then. But here's the thing, when you're playing with fire, it literally could come back to burn you. And for Kyle, it all started to go down after his close friend and producer Keith Ratliff was tragically murdered in 2013. Keith was the guy who supplied the insane arsenal of weapons that made fpsrussia so unique. His death wasn't just heartbreaking, it was covered in mystery. Keith was found shot in the back of his head in his office, surrounded by guns, and to this day, the case remains unsolved. Losing Keith wasn't just an emotional blow for Kyle, it also severed a crucial part of what made the channel work. Without Keith's expertise and connections, things were never quite the same. And then there were the legal problems. For the second time in 4 years, the ATF came knocking on Kyle's door in 2017, raiding his property and arrested him for possession of illegal substances. Specifically, they found butane hash oil, which landed Kyle in jail for 2 months. Even though the charge had nothing to do with the guns featured on the channel, it put a massive target on his back with authorities. Suddenly, the carefree guy blowing stuff up for fun became a sad story of back-to-back problems. After serving his time, Kyle just vanished. No farewell video, no dramatic announcement, he simply just stopped uploading. Fans speculated he might come back after the dust settled. But as the years rolled on, it became clear fpsrussia was gone for good. Maybe it was the weight of losing Keith, or maybe Kyle just didn't want to deal with the added scrutiny from law enforcement. Plus, convicted felons aren't allowed to own guns, so that limits what he can upload on the channel. Whatever the case, he left behind a legacy of epic explosions, and it's just sad to think about what it could have been if he was still around till now. But while fpsrussia's downfall was tangled in tragedy, this next YouTuber we got fell victim to something completely different. I'm talking about Leafy is here. Leafy used to be the internet's snarky little brother. He had a way of roasting people that was so savage. You couldn't help but watch and laugh. His commentary videos were the kind of content that either had you crying laughing or angrily typing out a comment. He thrived on drama, and honestly, that's what made him such a massive thing on the platform.
Knock knock, who's there? F you. Sounds terrific, dude.
At his peak, Leafy had over 4 million subs. He was known for having a gameplay video running in the background, usually CSGO or some other FPS, and Leafy would just be going off on whatever the topic of the day was. No one was safe. YouTubers, celebrities, random internet personalities, even kids making cringy videos, like that Pokemon Go kid, who I'm sure we all remember.
I play Pokemon Go every day.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Holy shit. This might actually be one of the worst YouTube videos I've ever seen in my entire life.
He had this sarcastic voice that just made the insults hit even harder. It wasn't everybody's cup of tea, but for his fans, it was gold. However, even as the king of edgy YouTube content, he would eventually push it too far. That moment came when he started targeting people in ways that felt mean. Sure, roasting someone is one thing, but some of his videos came across as bullying. One of the biggest controversies was when he made a video about an autistic YouTuber, Tommy NC 2010, and mocked them relentlessly.
Leafy, you're definitely the worst out of all of them. You know, your entire YouTube channel was a lot like that one kid in middle school that everybody hated that would run through the hallways like a f***ing anime character. That's you, okay? That's your entire goddamn YouTube channel. Would you not say that he's trying to piss people off? Because shit, I definitely would.
Fans of Tommy pushed back hard at his comments, and suddenly Leafy's brand of humor didn't seem so funny anymore. It was one of the first major cracks in his empire. And then there was YouTube itself. By 2016, the platform started tightening up on its rules, especially around harassment and hate speech. Leafy's content, which thrived on calling people out, suddenly became a huge liability. YouTube wasn't gonna tolerate creators who made their living off of tearing others down, and he became public enemy number one. By 2020, the hammer finally came down as Leafy's channel was terminated for violating YouTube's harassment policies. And just like that, millions of subs and years of content were wiped out. After his ban, Leafy didn't exactly stay quiet. He popped up on Twitter and even tried to make a comeback on platforms like Twitch, but it just wasn't the same. The content that made him famous didn't fit into the new internet that was being shaped up. He even launched a second YouTube channel, only for it to be banned almost immediately. Leafy himself seemed unbothered, often trolling about the situation online, but fans could tell he was struggling to find his place in the world, where his old tricks didn't work anymore. The wildest part is that Leafy had chances to pivot. He could have adapted his content or toned it down, but instead he leaned into the backlash. It's almost like he wanted to see how far he could push before the platform pushed back, and when they did, it was game over. But while his disappearance felt deserved, Fred's story had a completely different vibe. From YouTube's first big superstar to a Nickelodeon actor, Fred's fall was about growing up and moving on. Even if the name doesn't immediately ring a bell, anyone who was around during the earlier days of YouTube has probably heard that high-pitched voice screaming, "Hey, it's Fred!"
Hey, it's Fred! And it's really nice out, so I think I'm gonna go swimming later. My mom found this really cool pool at the dump. It's really big and really deep. I think I might drown!
This was created by Lucas, aka Fred, who was a 6-year-old with a sped up voice, a dark yet oddly hilarious backstory, and almost an absurd level of energy that made him entertaining and very problematic. By 2009, Fred became the first YouTube channel to hit 1 million subs, a milestone that was unheard of back then. And his popularity wasn't just limited to YouTube. Fred crossed over into mainstream media, appearing on iCarly.
Okay, are you ready for this?
And even landing a trilogy of movies on Nickelodeon. Even John Cena played Fred's dad in those films. Yes, John Cena. But the sad thing was, his appeal wasn't built to last. Fred's humor, bizarre catchphrases, and exaggerated emotional outbursts were perfect for a specific moment in the internet history. Yet, as YouTube evolved and audiences grew older, Fred's vibe started to feel out of place. By the time Lucas starred in Fred, the show on Nickelodeon, the magic was fading. Critics hated the series, and it only lasted 1 season. Then there was Lucas himself. By 2014, he was ready to move on. Fred was a character Lucas had created as a teenager, and now he was an adult. The thought of playing a 6-year-old forever felt awkward, to say the least. So Lucas decided to stop making Fred videos altogether. It wasn't an easy decision, since that was what made him famous, but it was clear that Lucas had outgrown the character. After stepping away, he tried to reinvent himself. He launched a new channel under his own name, posting vlogs and challenges that were more in line with his personality style. But his audience didn't follow him. People subscribed for Fred, not for Lucas. In one video, he even joked about 95% of his fan mail was hate mail because viewers were mad about Fred's disappearance. The final nail in Fred's coffin came when Lucas sold the channel to a South Korean company. They attempted to revive Fred with a new actor and a series of bizarre promotional videos that included, of all things, cereal ads. The results were not great. Fans rejected rejected. The reboot and Fred's channel eventually became a graveyard of failed experiments. As of now, Lucas is still active on his personal channel, where he sometimes reflects on his Fred days. He even said he doesn't regret any of it. Not the movies, not the hate mail, not even the 0% on Rotten Tomatoes for the Fred movie.
You really regret being in the Fred movies. Okay, let's talk about it. So many of these assumptions were like, you hate Fred, you regret being Fred. Like, wow, tell me how you guys really feel about Fred, okay? To be honest, I don't regret being in the Fred movies at all. It was so fun. I know they were rated a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes, but it was so fun. I remember being on set and just being like, what the hell? Like, how am I filming a movie right now? What? This isn't real life. John Cena was there? Like, I still don't believe that was real.
Fred's story is a bittersweet reminder of how fleeting internet fame can be, even when you're once loved by millions. Another creator who was once loved by many was Nigahiga. His rise was so fast that by 2009, he was the most subscribed channel on YouTube, dethroning Fred himself. This was no small feat, considering that Ryan wasn't backed by a big corporation or flashy production budgets like Fred. All he had was a little camcorder and a green screen and his funny friends. He proved that personality and creativity could outshine even the most polished content. Just saying the name brings back memories of YouTube's golden era when creativity and humor were allowed without so much censorship. Ryan Higa, the mastermind behind Nigahiga, was one of YouTube's earliest superstars.
It's been happening for months now. I've been seeing it everywhere. On my dog, on my mind, even on my nuts. I thought it would stop, but as time went by, it never did. It just keeps coming and coming. I can't take it anymore. It must end now.
Starting in 2006, Ryan's videos were a perfect mix of parody, satire, and clever wordplay, with skits like How to Be a Ninja and How to Be Emo, racking up millions of views long before YouTube algorithms dictated the kind of content we see today. For years, Nigahiga was a brand, a community, and for many, a huge part of their early internet experiences. What set Ryan apart was his ability to adapt, while others clung to the trends that made them famous. Ryan evolved. He moved from slapstick comedy and parodies to well thought out sketches, music videos, and even deep dives into personal experiences. Ryan had range, and for over a decade, he kept his audience hooked. But even the best creators can't escape the challenging tides of the internet. By the late 2010s, YouTube was no longer the Wild West of content creation. It was an algorithm-driven machine that rewarded long-form content, flashy thumbnails, and endless streams of uploads. For Ryan, who had always focused on quality over quantity, this new scene felt very different. In 2020, Ryan posted a video titled, "Why I Stopped Uploading Videos," a heartfelt explanation for his gradual retreat from YouTube. He talked about how creating videos had started to feel more like a chore than a passion. The joy of brainstorming, filming, and editing was being replaced by the pressure to keep up with trends and algorithms.
Over the past year, I really have been considering quitting YouTube. It's not that I don't want to do YouTube, but I just wasn't having fun making YouTube videos anymore.
There's nothing that I really feel like, oh, this is gonna be different if I do it. It would have to be something more challenging.
I don't even know when exactly it started to happen, but I was getting a little frustrated with YouTube and getting really just bitter, I guess, with what YouTube had become.
Ryan also admitted he wanted to focus on other aspects of his life, like his streaming career on Twitch, where he could engage with fans in a more relaxed way. For many fans, it was bittersweet. While it was great to see Ryan thriving in a new space, there was a longing for the days when a new Nigahiga upload felt like an event. As of 2024, Ryan hasn't officially returned to YouTube in the way fans might hope. The Nigahiga channel remains frozen in time. Ryan himself seems content, pursuing other passions and living life on his own terms. He left at a time when he was still loved and respected, avoiding the issues that consume so many other creators. But it's also a reminder that sometimes stepping away is the boldest and healthiest move a creator can make.